Hello, I'm your host, Giselle Gamby, and this is the Intuitive Pull Podcast, where together we'll embrace the plans we did not make yet, unfold businesses and lives that are so much greater in wealth in all ways than any business or life plan could ever achieve. My wish is that you make intuition your most trusted advisor. So buckle up, get present, and let's go. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. It's wonderful to have you here. On this episode, it's okay to be powerful. Let me give you the background of this episode. I had planned on recording an episode entitled Surrendering Control. That arrived yesterday morning when I was going for a run, which, as I've said in previous episodes, if you want to connect to your intuition, one of the best ways that I have found, not only in meditation, but also going for a run, going for a walk, being out in nature, going for a swim, wherever, whatever environment you can place yourself in that allows you to feel joy and that allows a spaciousness where you're not thinking in your rational mind about what you have to do. So that allows an openness. So I was going for a run yesterday morning and the theme of this week's episode arrived, surrendering control. I was excited about that because I know how important surrendering control is. In fact, it's vital. It's vital to following the intuitive pull. However, I had a full day of coaching sessions yesterday. And after one session, where the theme of the session was about growing this woman's already very profitable business to the next level, but not from a place of burden and loss of freedom, but from a place of more joy and even more freedom. After I got off the phone with her, I had these words arrive intuitively, of course. It's okay to be powerful. And when those words arrived, I really felt a response in my body, like, I felt my body flood actually with an energy. I guess you could call it joy, like an overwhelming energy that these words had potency. I had my lunch. And then after lunch, the words were still there. And I thought, okay, these words want to be given presence. And so I closed my eyes. I took my laptop out and I received a piece of writing line by line. Literally, it was like I was receiving each line in each moment. That line would fall out of my fingers to write. And by the end of the writing, I had, maybe a page of almost like a poem. I shared that piece of writing with my clients. I shared it on the Intuitive Pull Facebook group. I shared it on Instagram. And then I shared it just publicly on my Facebook profile. And it really seemed to resonate with people. And some people actually shared on different platforms. I'm going to print this out and I'm going to read it every day. And so this morning, when I was going for a run again, it was very obvious to me to surrender control about letting go of the theme that I thought I was going to talk about, surrendering control, and actually doing that and going with where the energy is right now. And where the energy is right now, based on yesterday's experience, is around this invitation or this message. It's okay to be powerful. So I'm going to read what I received yesterday, and then we'll talk about it. It's okay to be powerful. It really is. You will not lose yourself. In fact, you will be even more of yourself. Being more of yourself is not an act of self-centeredness. It is an act of fulfilling the promise you made to yourself a long time ago, perhaps even before this lifetime. That promise you made to yourself wasn't just for you. There are other souls who are depending on you to fulfill the promise you made to yourself so that they can fulfill theirs. And so it's okay to be powerful. And in fact, it's okay to experience more joy than you could ever imagine as you be powerful. There is no need to apologize for that joy, as there is no need to succumb to the idea that to be powerful means to be burdened. That is a reality for sure, but it is not your reality. It's okay to be powerful. It's not only okay, but it's your blessing to receive the goodness of life that is the consequence of fulfilling the promise you made to yourself a long time ago, perhaps even before this lifetime. And so be free to be powerful. If thoughts arrive that seek to quantify and measure how powerful you can be, know that this is the voice of your ego. This voice believes that your capacity is limited and therefore asks you to define how powerful you can be. Your power, however, is unlimited. It is unquantifiable by nature. So how can it be contained? To respond to your power from the voice of your ego holds zero value. Do not believe the voice that says you will be taxed in time and energy. In fact, the opposite is true. It's okay to be powerful. Please surrender control. Place no limits, no caps. And as you let go and be free to be powerful in its true definition, that your power is limitless, you will know yourself as the sun and the moon and the stars and the earth and all things in between. And that is why you came here, to know yourself as that. That is the promise you made to yourself. And that is the promise others made to themselves. Remember, they are waiting on you to fulfill your promise so that they can fulfill their own. It's not only okay to be powerful, it's your vow. So how are you feeling as I read that to you? What's your emotional response? What thoughts are you thinking around your own relationship with your power? And of course, this almost doesn't need to be said, but just in case it does need to be said, for the few people that say being powerful, isn't that about being controlling and having power over? No. That's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about your true essence, your true authentic essence that is here to be expressed through the vehicle of your body, through the vehicle of your personality. Actually, that's why you came here. So it's not only okay to be powerful, it's actually the reason why you came here. So I want to talk about, I thought it would be valuable to talk about, why do we resist being powerful? Conversely, why did people, when they read this post yesterday, why did they say, I've printed that out and I'm going to read it every day? Why isn't that our natural state? Why do we have to print things out and read it every day in order for this message to be honed in? It's because of what we make being powerful mean, right? What we make being powerful mean. That's why we resist being powerful. So I'm just going to mention a few things that we make being powerful mean. And there may be a whole lot of other things that go on in your mind. So I'm asking you, as I share these reasons that have us avoid being in our power, in the fullness of our power, I'm asking you, please be present. Please take some responsibility here. Please dig deep, because I can't, I'm not going to share every reason. So I'm asking you to participate here. So the question is, what do you make being powerful mean that would have you resist it? So here are some reasons. If we think that let me say it differently. If we think that being more powerful than we already are being, we believe that life is going to be a whole lot more burdensome. So, for example, with this client yesterday around scaling her business, thoughts were, I'm going to lose freedom here because I'm going to have a whole lot more to do. It's going to be more burdensome. I am going to lose time. My energy is going to be taken up. I'll be stressed and I'll be tired. And, this perception is a perception that many of us have. I know that I have had to catch myself when I've really been in the overflow. I have watched myself go, oh, okay, I'm good now. Why do I do that? Because I too have made it mean, oh my gosh, I am going to be so stressed out. I'm not going to have enough energy. My energy is going to be depleted. It's not true. It's not true. In fact, the more powerful we are, the more energy we have. We lose energy when we are in resistance. So the more powerful we are, the more energy we have. If we don't make it okay to be powerful, there are many consequences. I probably don't need to tell you what they are, because if you have not made it okay to be powerful, you probably know those consequences very well. But one of the consequences that I want to declare here is the consequence of offloading your responsibility to be powerful to another. In other words, when you don't make it okay to be powerful and you offload that responsibility of being powerful to another, you're asking them to rescue you. And if you're asking them to rescue you, you are probably not consciously, but unconsciously choosing the role of victimhood, the role of being the powerless one. And that's not very much fun. I've done that one. I did that years ago when I did not allow myself to be powerful in the sales process, because I had learned a sales process that, was one of those models where you have to follow the 7 steps. And I can't do that. I can't connect in a way where it's pre-planned. The way that I connect is by being present. But I didn't know that at the time. And so I just made up the story that I couldn't do that part of my business. I couldn't do the sales part of my business. And so I offloaded that to someone who I thought or perceived to be really amazing at doing that part of the business. At the time, I didn't know that I was choosing to be rescued. At the time, I didn't know that I was choosing the role of victim. At the time, I didn't know that I was choosing to be the powerless one. And it wasn't fun. It wasn't fun at all. So there's a converse story or role that we can also play when we don't make it okay for ourselves to be powerful. So if we don't allow ourselves to be in our natural power, and there's still a desire for that, we can also play the role of rescuer. And in this dynamic, this is a funky one, this one. In this one, as the role of rescuer, we are feeding off like those fish that feed off the bottom of the ocean. We're feeding off those who believe that they are powerless and need to be rescued. And that's not much fun either. Nobody wins in that regard. Nobody wins in that regard. So it's okay to be powerful. In fact, it's the reason why we came here. We came here to be powerful. We came here to experience our essence, our innate abilities and qualities and authenticities. It's why we came here, to have that experience, to know ourselves as that. And when we are powerful, unlike the role of victim and rescuer, when we are powerful, we allow other people to be in their power as well. In A Course in Miracles, I've talked about A Course in Miracles text that I've studied very much this year. And one of the pieces in A Course in Miracles is that, I give the miracles away that I have received. I give the miracles away that I have received. So as I become powerful, as I shift from fear to love, and I allow myself, give myself permission to be powerful, I give that away to other people. And there's another beautiful section in A Course in Miracles that says, what we give away, we actually get to keep. So the more we give it away, the more we get to keep it. So everybody wins as we are powerful. It's quite perfect, actually, that statement, it's okay to be powerful, arrived this week, because I had a conversation with another client earlier on this week who has created a new political party. She's leading from love. Amazing. And the federal government has changed things about such that to have a party run for Senate, it has moved the number of members needed for that to be what used to be 500, now it's 1,500. This week she achieved 1,630 members, which is fantastic. And I remember starting with her, I think it was around this time last year, actually. And she was telling me about, wanting to start this political party and run for Senate. And this piece arrived in our conversation, which was really the reason why we then partnered. And that was allow this experience to create a new party, to be the leader of a new party. Allow this experience to be one where joy is increased rather than burden, rather than it being an experience of burden. Because you think about the political environment, my goodness. I don't know if there's a more dense environment than the political environment. I don't know how she does it. I certainly can't do it myself. And so it is completely acceptable to think that she would have to be the sacrificial lamb in choosing to create a new party and lead from love. And that very first conversation that we had was, no, you don't need to be the sacrificial lamb. Let this be an experience where you have even more joy in your life as a result of this, rather than it being a burden. And she's done an incredible job at absolutely being present to make sure that she is leading from love, that she's out of the victim, persecutor, rescuer, blame triangle. I won't say too much more for client confidentiality, but all parts of her life have grown. All parts, in very practical ways. All parts of her life have grown. So what an incredible example. You'd think the political environment would be the last place that you would say, wow, I grew and all parts of my life grew, including the realization of a new party that is now credible and here in the Australian political system. This is the last place that you would think that we would say, oh, she has so much more joy and so much more freedom. Like, she has so much more freedom, let me tell you. So much more freedom within. That's the last place. If it can happen in politics, it can happen anywhere. So it's okay to be powerful. I trust that this has been a very contemplative, very getting honest conversation with yourself. There's one more thing I want to say. Many times I say to the people that I coach, you are the evolutionary leader of your family. You are the evolutionary leader of your business. You are the evolutionary leader of your community. You're the one that goes first. You're the one that makes it okay to be powerful so that others can be that for themselves. Everybody wins in that regard. My final piece is a prayer that I didn't know that I would say on this podcast episode, and that is, may you fulfill your vow, the promise that you made to yourself all those years ago, perhaps even lifetimes ago, where you are finally free to be in the fullness of your power and in the fullness of the joy that is experienced when you are in your power. May you feel depth. May you feel lightness. May your power impact many in environments that even you might not have believed you had capacity to impact. Be free to be powerful. Thank you. Thank you so much for listening. I trust that you were intuitively pulled. If you liked this episode, please follow this podcast and share the love with your family, friends, and colleagues. Let them know that I'm here. And if you'd like to have more communication with me, join the Intuitive Pull Facebook group, where you'll find details in the show notes, and you can let me know about what pulls you've been receiving by listening to these episodes. Until next time, so much love.